My name is Rick Rogers, and I'm from Spencer. I've been asked to moderate this conversation with Mr. Couturi about the dissolution of the Village of VanEtten. I've been asked as an impartial individual of the Spencer VanEtten community. Partially, I can say that in full disclosure that I really have had little, I have had very little contact with the information about the dissolution, so the feeling was that I could be impartial, and so I would like to begin with a short statement. In an effort to sort fact from fiction regarding the possible dissolution of the Village of VanEtten government, VanEtten Village Mayor Jake Briggs and VanEtten Town Supervisor George Couturi were asked to participate in this forum so that you could hear the answers from them directly. While Mayor Briggs has declined the invitation, Supervisor Couturi has agreed to participate and will soon give a 3-minute opening statement. Following that, he'll be asked a series of questions, given a 1-minute response time for each. Had Mayor Briggs chosen to participate, he and Supervisor Couturi would have had the opportunity to pose a question to the other after each response. So we'll hear from Mr. Supervisor Couturi now.
Yeah, well, this whole thing started back in our April joint town-village meeting, and the question was just brought up because somebody had said in the community that VanEtten has the highest tax rate in the area. And so we got looking into it, and we figured, well, yeah, I guess we do. I don't have a good answer why that is, because we try to keep our budget as tight as possible. But during the joint town-village meeting, we thought, well, if we approach the village, that maybe if we get together and consolidate so that there's only one government instead of two, we could help lower the taxes for everybody in the village and in the town as well. And so we're just looking to help all the residents out, not just a small few. And in doing that, you know, already the village doesn't really have road crews or anything like that. The town has all that stuff. They do have the municipal water and things like that, and garbage pickup. But other than that, they don't really supply any other services. So why do you really need the two governments? You know, if you get rid of one of them and streamline things and try to make things better for everybody, it's gonna reduce taxes. You know, it just the way it is. And we at the town is just willing to work together to make this stuff happen and go on with it. Now, the village board pretty much blew it off. They didn't want to do any consolidating or talking about it. But there were people in the audience that, well, in May they didn't bring nothing up, and they said, well, geez, they didn't bring it up in June, or didn't have a meeting in June. July they didn't bring it up, and they thought, well, they're not gonna bring it up. Well, we're gonna petition you to close. You won't answer our questions. You've always been pretty tight with your board meetings and all that, won't let anybody speak and things like that. And the town board always lets everybody speak. You know, they have a right, and that's why we're here. We're not supposed to be self-serving people. We're supposed to be for the people, and that's what the town is. And it might not look that way with the village all the time, but you know, I can't speak for their style of government. I've been to a meeting or two of theirs, and they go to executive session quite often, and it doesn't make sense. You're not supposed to do any business in executive session. Everything's supposed to be done out in the public. So, you know, our main goal is to do the best for the residents. Try to lower the taxes, move into the future, and see how it works. You know, just makes good sense. You know, if you could possibly work together, that's how things happen. If you're fighting all the time, nothing works. You know, you gotta work together. I guess that's about all I have to say for an opening statement, but you know.
Well, now I'll pose a series of questions to you that
Sure.
are from the VanEtten community.
The village community, probably, yeah.
Village. So the first question from town residents, there are concerns that taxes will go up to help pay for the village expenses that you'll be taking on such as refuge, water, sidewalks. How will that work?
Well, we had a budget meeting there, and we got talking at the tail end of our meeting that what are we gonna do if this thing goes through? How are we gonna manage all this stuff? Well, as it turns out, the village government takes on 30-some or 50-some thousand in sales tax money that the county would have to turn over to the town if the village is gone. Now, all the services that the village requires, garbage, the sidewalks, the lighting, and the cemeteries and that, only comes to 40-some thousand. So it's already taken care of. We don't need any special districts, any special anything. We already got the money for it. Because if the town people outside of the village would say, well, how come you're picking their garbage up and not mine? They're actually paying for it because it's the village sales tax that we're using to help subsidize this stuff. So here you go, it's just one of them things that we figured out pretty easily, you know, it turns out that the tax money we're gonna gain more than enough offsets all their services, so nothing changes. Now, even though, am I supposed to do something with the clock?
No, that's for Rick.
Because you have 1 minute
Oh,
for each
okay.
question.
Go
So
ahead.
we're just trying to.
You can go on to the next one.
All right. So, will the current services then that the village residents receive continue unchanged?
Yes, that's what I'm saying, that we already have the money set aside for it if the village goes away, and nothing should change. The only thing that's kinda unusual is the village pays $10,000–11,000 for garbage pickup. Now, all the residents have to pay that tax. Now they still have to go and buy a $3.50 tag to put on their bag to throw in the garbage. So they're actually paying for it twice. Any town residents only pays once. We don't have garbage pickup in the town, they take care of their own. And it's just minimal. They don't have that $11,000 fee for some guy to run around and pick it up. It's a little different, you know. I don't know that we're ever gonna streamline that sort of thing, but if it stays the same, it's already paid for.
And are extra taxes needed for any of these services? To continue?
No, the money's already there.
All right.
We'll actually make about $10,000 on this, whatever we don't use to subsidize whatever the things they got, will be set aside. I think it'll have to be needed for the water system. Who knows, a pump might break or something might break. There's gonna have to be money set aside for breakage. You know, I don't know if the town's responsible for that, but I assume we are. You know, because the village won't be there to take care of it. You know, somebody's gotta take care of it.
All right. 2 current village services were not mentioned in the CGR report, or the Center for Government Research report. And one was residents currently have benefit of 2 dumpster days each year, wherein they can dispose of household items at no charge. They also have brush up and pick up in the spring. Will these 2 services continue?
Well, the town does that anyway. The village claims title to it, but the town does it. You know, I don't know if we pay for the dumpsters or not, but I know we pick up the brush. You know, that's not a problem. I mean, it might make sense to have dumpsters around the area for all the people to use. And then you don't have this $11,000 fee for garbage. That seems absurd in a way, but you know, that's the way it is now.
So just to clarify.
Yes.
If the village dissolves, will all residents who call VanEtten their home be part of the town of VanEtten? And will everyone be paying the same taxes?
Right. They all do. The village will still always remain to be the village, you just don't have to pay the village tax. I mean, they pay town tax now already. We have an A fund, a B fund, a DA fund, and a DB fund, and an SF fund. The village helps pay on the A fund and the DA fund. That's snow plowing and things like that, nature there, so they're already contributing to town tax already. Now, the DB fund has to do with roads, and, you know, we're gonna have CHIPS money from the village, because our village gets their own CHIPS money, so that part will be taken care of. I mean, the tax will be less. regardless.
And will what's now known as the village still be referred to as the village, though all under one, although everything will be under one governing body?
Right, it's always gonna be the village, yeah, it can't change, you know, I live in the village, sure you do, you just don't pay the village tax any longer.
Some village residents have expressed a concern that if the village does dissolve, they'll become second-class citizens in the eyes of the town government. How do you respond to those worries?
Now, anybody that comes through the door during a regular town meeting, if they're from the village or from the town, I let everybody speak. And a lot of times, for some reason, the village residents don't go to these meetings. They should attend their village meetings all the time to be informed. We have town residents here quite often, and we have some once in a while village residents. And I let everyone speak, you know, they all have a part. And we have a village board member. She ran for the town board and won. She lives in the village.
According to page 7 of the CGR report, quote, all village local laws remain in effect for 2 years after dissolution until they are acted upon by the VanEtten Town Board, unquote. All village laws are listed on pages 7 and 8. Will the town, as some village residents are suggesting, do away with those laws?
I don't actually know what the laws that they have written down are, but like I said, they'll be there for 2 years at least. And if they're feasible laws, why not leave them? You know, we don't have any qualms of changing the laws that govern the inner parts of the village. You know, I understand maybe there's one for four-wheelers or something like that. People don't want four-wheelers ripping up and down the sidewalks. Why not leave it? You know, I don't know of any other laws that are, I don't know, what permit for something, page 6 and 7?
Page 7. 7 and 8.
7 and 8. Local laws. All-terrain vehicles, outdoor burning. Well, you know, the burning thing, when your houses are so close together, they have these outdoor wood burning things, and they're terrible. Because the smoke's right close to the ground, they don't have a regular chimney that's up 30, 40 feet in the air.